Hey, this is Mark Kanty with Release Dynamics, and we're back again with Dr. Loren Hill. And we're talking about CVs today, which is, I know, it's not a very exciting topic. Well, we're going to make it exciting. It's an important topic because your CV could actually be the reason that you're not getting promoted. And I thought this was a great article that I was reading that Dr. Hill had written, and a perfect opportunity for us to talk a little bit about this and exactly what needs to happen in that whole formal process. As Dr. Hill outlined for me, this one little thing could literally be the difference between being at the top of the pile and being at the bottom of the pile, or maybe not being in the pile at all. So something as simple as a CV, and it's really not that simple. It's actually a very, very important document. So welcome, Dr. Hill. Thanks so much for being with us again today.
Thanks, Mark. I'm glad to be with you here today talking about CVs.
Yeah. So let me ask you the question straight up. Let's dive right in. What are the key things? You know, give me the hit list, the top number of things that you think are important. Tell us a little bit about what is a CV, and then maybe give us some key points that people need to be aware of so that they can really strengthen the odds of their CV getting noticed, and also hopefully helping them get promoted.
So, Mark, I would say that we should start at the beginning and sort of talk about why are we even having a conversation regarding CVs, right?
Sure.
So over the years, I've reviewed a number of applicants for positions when I was department chair, when I was faculty on search committees. And what is often part of the application packet is a CV or resume, right? So people will apply for a position and sometimes they'll submit a resume when they should be submitting a CV, or they'll submit a CV when they should be submitting a resume. So they're not exactly the same. And I think that most of us are familiar with the term resume, and fewer of us are familiar with the term CV. So a CV is Latin, and it is curriculum vitae, and it means the course of life, right? So what we're looking for, particularly in academia, in the US, is a CV. So where have you gone to school? What have been some of your academic accomplishments? And what sort of sets you apart from other people? Now, I want to just briefly say that resumes are what you typically submit in the general workforce. And they tend to be brief, maybe a page or two, but CVs tend to be a bit longer. And we want to be mindful that when we're submitting our CV, we're aiming for about 5 pages or so. And when you're first starting off, you probably don't even have 2 pages, right? But as you continue along your academic career, you could have quite a few pages. At this point in my career, for all of the things that I list, and I do think that you should keep a running document, and we'll come back to that later. But at this point, my CV is about 28 pages, my comprehensive CV.
Wow.
So imagine what that's like to try to pare it down to 5, right? But essentially that's what we're looking at, right? We are looking at the difference between a resume, which is very brief and really just has your work history, and then a CV, which is longer.
Fantastic. So that really boggles my mind, the idea of a 28-page, and I can see why it's important to understand this, because a selection committee, can you imagine if they had 10, 50, 100 people applying for one position and they all had 28-page CVs? That would be a real problem. So great advice on trimming it down and making sure that it's condensed to no more than 5 pages. But also what I've just learned from this too is this idea that to me, it was always resume, resume, resume. And yeah, brief, like if you could do a 1 page or a front and back, you know, the briefer, the tighter, the better. So this idea that no, the CV is this longer report, and that is more popular, more common, and more important in academic circles. So great, great tip. What other things would you say with us are common, you know, maybe mistakes or things that people need to be thinking of or aware of when they come to, you know, applying and using their CV?
So some things that people don't do correctly is uh, sort of list their research, their teaching, their fellowships, their grants, their awards, their publications, their professional memberships, and other career-related information. They may just have a few things here or there, but you know, if I'm reviewing an application, I want to see all of those areas listed. And as I mentioned before, over time, you may have something lengthy because you've been in the field for longer, but we should be seeing something in most, if not all, of those areas when you're applying for a position. Also, the CV is highly structured. It should be in chronological order. It should be sectioned off. And really formatting matters. We want to be mindful that there aren't any typos or errors or misspellings, and that your dates are correct. I mean, people will be forgiving, but you want to really have it edited properly.
So obviously, you know, what I'm getting here too is how important this document is. Not something that you just want to whip through, and preferably not on your own either. What other, like, what if you were thinking of, say, somebody that's looking for advancement and they've eyed up a particular institution or whatever, what do you think happens in terms of, or what would be important in terms of communications or questions that they might want to ask prior to submitting or putting a CV together?
So we want to be mindful of what we are using the CV for, right? If you're applying for a position, your CV may be brief, could be the 5-page one because that's what's going through HR, and then ultimately the committee or the department chair who's going to be reviewing it. But if you are applying for a promotion in rank, right? If you are looking to advance in your career, that's when you want to have the comprehensive. So as I was applying for my, submitting my application for assistant to associate professor, I had everything in there, the complete CV. So the eye on that from the committee and the department chair, whoever's reviewing it, they want to look at your body of work. Versus if you're applying for a position, you just want to let folks know that, you know, I'm hitting all the marks, and you can cover some of those other things in the interview while you're speaking. So you want to really understand, what are you using this for and what are they asking for, right? So there are times when, if you are applying for perhaps an administrative appointment, they may want a resume. So there are times when you can do a hybrid, and it's important to get some advice on which one you should be using. I've worked with a number of clients over the years who are coming from what we call industry into academia, right? So they're professionals and they are looking for an adjunct position, or they're looking for a part-time position. They want to stay in their industry, but they want a teaching position, and many of them only have a resume. So I have to help them take the pieces of the resume and put it into the CV, and then help them put together a template of what a CV should look like. I also have folks who are in academia who are looking to go into industry or perhaps start their consulting, and they need a resume. So academicians are very used to the CV, which is detailed, lengthy, as you mentioned earlier. You're used to resumes that are brief, one page, maybe two. And so helping those folks put together a resume is something that I also work on.
Wow. So, what's coming to my mind is this is a journey I would not want to do alone. I mean, you've thrown a lot of things at me. All of a sudden there's more questions coming up for me, like, well, what if I don't know that? And what if I don't know this? So definitely a journey or a path that I would want some help with, that I would not want to, walk this journey alone or put something like this together. And what the heck, getting an extra set of eyes on things too can really, really, that feedback can help enhance the probability of even getting an advancement. So very cool. And let me ask you about that. What can you do for people if somebody's thinking about an advancement in their academic career, whether they're going for an associate professorship or maybe even a full professorship or any number of positions? Tell us about that, Loren, and how maybe you could help out.
So some of the ways that I could help out for someone who's looking for advancement, looking to get into the area, looking to exit, is really just helping them review what they have and make sense of, you're somebody who's looked at, countless CVs, Loren, or you, Dr. Hill, have been on search committees. What would you recommend? Is this kind of lining up correctly? Does this look like something that would pass muster, or do I really need to work on this? And so I would say, reach out to me. We have opportunities to do a free consultation. And if this is a direction that I think we should be moving in, then one of the first things I'm going to ask you is to send me your CV or your resume, because I have to get my eyes on it to see what's going on. The other thing that I would say is that even if you're not thinking about promoting now, let's talk, because part of career advancement strategy is starting wherever you are. It's never too soon and it's never too late. So we need to be looking at what you have, what you've done over your career, what you plan to do, and how we can help you put together your strategy for moving forward. Because at some point, I'm hopeful that you will want to apply for that position, or maybe you want to change. So putting your profile together and your portfolio is important. And I wish I would have had somebody to help me early in my career do it. But fortunately, I had mentors along the way that helped me improve my CV, gave me feedback on it. So I want to let people know that you don't have to do this by yourself. There's me here to help you, and I'm hoping that you'll reach out to me. I can be reached at my website, which is www.theacclivity, that's two C's, acclivity.com.
Fantastic. So theacclivity.com, and you'll be able to find, I know, obviously I've been on the website, that Dr. Hill has a contact form on there, and it's very easy to get in touch with her. So are you thinking about promoting to the rank of associate professor or any other rank in academia? Maybe you're not sure if your CV is ready to include in your promotional portfolio. Advancing through the ranks at an academic institution can be a difficult process. And Dr. Hill knows. She's been there. She's been in your shoes, and she knows what happens on the other side. She's also been a department chair and has reviewed numerous candidates for promotion as part of a selection committee. So you can't come across a better resource than Dr. Hill to give you a hand. So get in touch with Dr. Hill today. Find out if your CV is ready for promotion, if you're ready to take that step, and other little things that maybe you're not even considering that could really improve your odds of getting promoted in academia. Dr. Hill, thanks so much once again. Any parting comments before we go today?
Let's look at that CV.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dr. Hill. And we will look forward to seeing you on our next video interview with Dr. Hill as she shares her wisdom on how to get promoted in your academic career. Thanks so much for joining us today.